All right. Well, we have been, I guess you could say, jumping around certain topics when it comes to the 3.5 update that is going to be coming out in around a week or so, or less than a week. And, besides talking about the dumpster fire that is the conversation around Dehya, not necessarily about the character, but that could be debatable. The conversation itself spurs a lot of, different types of avenues of, I guess you could say, talking when it comes to it being very positive, very negative, very, I guess, dedicated, all that type of stuff. It's just very polarizing, the different sides that there are when talking about Dehya. So we're going to be skipping that conversation for now, waiting till the guides are, about to come out, and when the, is she worth it? Should you summon? All that type of stuff. How good is she? Once she releases, will be something that will come out hopefully around the time the patch comes out. But let's go ahead and talk about the other aspects of 3.5 that a lot of people are either more hyped for or more excited for, and that is definitely I'm going to also address Sino. Sino is going to have some videos coming out very, very soon for people that wanted to summon for him, or people that want to know if he's any good. There is a couple videos I have planned out really, really soon, because his rerun is going to be the first one coming up with Dehya. So I will have videos up for those that are excited to see Sino back. But let's go ahead and talk about the more important things, I guess you could say. No disrespect to Sino, but Ayaka and Shenhe are getting their rerun, and this is something that a lot of people are excited about. I can understand why. Ayaka being the absolute monster of a DPS cryo unit that she is, also amazing in the overall, letting you run around on water and stuff, and Shenhe being the absolute nuke enabler when it comes to cryo teams. She's absolutely a nasty DPS, like I say, buff for cryo at C0. And same thing for Ayaka, absolutely amazing and shreds bosses and enemies like crazy at C0. So this is going to be one of the first banners when it comes to Ayaka and Shenhe being characters that don't necessarily need other characters to do well. They both do their respective role without the help of others, really. But talking about those two, these are some very exciting reruns, especially for a lot of people, because Shenhe was not summoned on very, very early on because people were waiting or summoning on other banners, because it was a very niche support. People didn't see the point of summoning for Shenhe at the very start, which is very plausible, very reasonable, because there was not a lot known about Shenhe and how crazy her nuking abilities were in the time that she was released. There was a lot more hype units, a lot more awaited rerun banners around her banner. So it's not really that, I guess you could say, surprising of that result. And Ayaka, even though she's been here a couple times, she's still something that a lot of new players want. She's absolutely amazing. And they're also in a very particular spot. The second half of 3.5, it lets you see what characters are going to be coming up in the next patch, because as I guess you could say, the more insightful version of the patch. I do like it when characters are on the second half of the patch, because once the characters on the second half of the patch, right, Ayaka and Shenhe, you get to see what characters are going to be on the 3.6 version banners, because the live stream is going to come up, and then the banners are still going to be on the game while the stream has ended. So once you get to know who is in the 3.6 update, we will know if Ayaka and Shenhe are worth the summon or not. Of course, it's your account, your primos, you summon on what you want, but it's really, really good to have information if you're patient enough to look at the live stream and see if these characters that are coming up are worth it. Now, on the talk of characters that might rerun in 3.6, I know it's really, really, and I mean really early to talk about it, but I guess you could say it's something that is very common knowledge, or something that a lot of people forget, is that since it is going to be 3.6, and Ayaka and Shenhe are very powerful characters, there's one character that I guess you could say supersedes all characters and could possibly get a rerun as well. Very, very soon, because it is their time as the rule, I guess you could say, if you understand what I'm talking about, the Archon 4 patch rule, and that rule is going to be applied once 3.6 comes. And Nahida, she's absolutely insane. She could possibly be a rerun for the next version after 3.5. Like, again, I said it's very early, and I mean very early to be talking about this, but it's something to keep note of, because although, Dehya, Sino are not very, I guess say, exciting for a lot of people, especially because Sino and Dehya, they both have their problems, and I'm going to be talking about both of them extensively when the patch comes out, and especially Sino, I'll be talking about him and all his pros and cons and all that type of stuff very, very soon. But everyone, I guess you could say, can come to an agreement when I say that Dehya and Sino as the first part of the patch are going to be a little bit lackluster when it comes to the summoning portion. I don't think a lot of people are going to be summoning this time around. And instead waiting for either Ayaka and Shenhe, who are absolutely amazing characters, and they both are, I guess you say, they supersede the amount of hype or excitement that Sino and Dehya could bring. And then of course the 3.6 update whenever it comes out, because like I said, it's a very long time from now. But you can expect Nahida's rerun and some other characters that we could possibly, you know, are waiting to rerun. But like I said, I do think that Ayaka and Shenhe are a very nice spot. You're able to see what characters are going to be coming out in 3.6. They're both amazing, and they both showcase, or I guess you say, have the new 4-star, which is Mika, on the banners, which is really nice. It's still very odd, I guess you could say, that Eula wasn't in this 3.5 patch, just because Mika being a physical support is something that Eula kind of needed. Due to the fact that there's not a lot of love for physical or geo at the moment, with neither elements having any type of reaction with Dendro or any other elements, besides Cryo and Electro helping out physical. There's just not a lot helping them out, and there's not enough to help them out in the future besides maybe a cracked out artifact set, a cracked out weapon in the future. I don't know. There's just not enough right now in the game to support physical, to support geo, to the point where they're able to compete with a lot of the newer teams that are coming out, especially the ones that interact with Dendro, you know, Hyper Bloom, Quicken, you know, all that type of stuff. There's a bunch of like different avenues and teams that have come out ever since Geo was built up with, you know, Goro, Ito, Albedo, Zhongli, all them type of characters, and physical being just really honestly Eula and Rosaria, because Rosaria does give that physical shred. There's just not enough, and I don't think if for right now there's going to be enough for Geo and physical to compete with all these new Dendro teams and all these new Dendro compositions that are coming out, especially with whatever new characters are coming out. You know, those characters are, you know, reacting with Dendro because that is their main point right now, to be able to have characters that focus and synergize with Dendro, because Dendro's our newer element. Of course, not that new as of 3.5, or we will be in 3.5. But it's still a newer element to the game than the original that we started with. So, like I said, a lot of stuff that is happening. First half of a little bit underwhelming at the moment, because a lot of people are not excited for Dehya. A lot of people are intending on skipping on Sino because of how, I guess you say, the problems that he has, or the issues that he has, or the overall negative cloud that surrounds Sino in how he released. And then the second half, of course, being the Ayaka Shenhe rerun with Mika, which is infinitely more exciting because of how amazing these characters are. One getting their first rerun, and then the other getting, you know, another rerun, which is absolutely a monster DPS. But there isn't that much to talk about other than these two characters getting their rerun, a possible Nahida rerun, and, you know, the lack of, I guess you could say, support for Eula and other Geo comps because of, you know, Mika is really nice to have, and the fact that Mika isn't paired up with Eula, it's gonna make it really hard for those that are waiting for Eula or saving for Eula to get a C6 version of Mika, if they get lucky, or a Mika at all, to help them out with the team comps. Because I don't know 100% if Mika is going to be the end all be all for physical teams. Like, you need him at C6 to make physical teams absolutely broken now. We'll have to wait and see when the patch comes out. But other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. It's been kind of going a rough overview of what's happening around 3.5, what people are thinking about for 3.5 from what I've seen in the comments, from what I've seen in different platforms of social media. I'm just, you know, basically summing it all up. But we have some Sino videos coming up very soon for people that are really excited for that. And after my series of Sino videos, we'll be talking about Dehya, talking about her guides, her constellations, all that type of stuff, everything to do with Dehya and how to play her, her builds and all that type of stuff. I'm very excited for 3.5 regardless, especially because it's always a new character, always fun to learn new characters and see how they work. I know a lot of people are still very unexcited or underwhelmed with how Dehya looks at the current moment, but you know, we'll never know until they release. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a sub and a like if you enjoyed this video, or you've been enjoying the videos. We're almost at 15k, which is really cool. I do have a quick story that I will probably address in another video regarding how how I got to this sub count when I'm just a brand new Genshin YouTuber, and it revolves about me being a content creator when it comes to another game that I quit. So I'll talk about that in another video, or maybe on a stream or something, if any of y'all are interested in that aspect. But other than that, thank you guys so much for all the support. But thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.